So I put seasonal anime into a randomizer and got A Girl and Her Guard Dog. A Girl and Her Guard Dog is a Japanese manga series written and illustrated by Hatsuharu. It has been serialized in Kodansha Shoujo manga magazine Bisatsu Friend since December 2018, with its chapters collected into 9 Tokobon volumes as of September 2023, and then a television series was then adapted by Project 9, premiering in September 2023. Project 9 is a small animation studio that has been around for about 14 years now, doing other animes this year actually, with this probably being their best year for animation. They've made Butabar, the story of a man who's turned into a pig, the vexation of a shut-in vampire princess, bottom tier character Tomozaki, Season 2, My Tiny Senpai, The Angel Next Door, Spoils Me Rotten, My Stepmom's Daughter Is My Ex, and Love After World Dominations. So these past 2 years have been the best years of its animation history, with it having a period of basically not being used pretty much at all. So I probably would assume that this animation studio is a bit on the cheaper side since more animes are tending to go to their studio. This anime is licensed by Crunchyroll, wow, shocker, and has also accumulated 2 million copies of its volumes in circulation. Alright, so what is this show about? Isaku Senagaki is the granddaughter of a yakuza boss of Senagaki. Isaku can't make any friends due to the parents of these children telling their child to stay away from her, with her deciding to go to high school far, far away from where she lives so she can have a social life. But it still doesn't help. A, because she doesn't know how to actually make conversation, and B, her 26-year-old guard dog named Keiya bribed his way into the school and is now her classmate. So he's far past being overprotective, with him knowing and taking care of her since she was 5. Yes, he's known her since she was 5. Not like he was also 5, no, he was practically already an adult, at least in the eyes of Japan. And here he is, as her classmate, with only the principal and her grandfather knowing. After she learns and finds him in the class, she's obviously very pissed about this, but he won't leave her alone. And based on how he's able to deal with her classmates, she's a little jealous, since he's doing better than she is, and fitting in. Episode 2, she meets a boy named Tamaru. Tamaru is one of those characters you can just look at and just know he's bad news. But the story plays out normal. He gets her Insta account, and Keiya doesn't overly step in, which is a first. She's not exactly the most thrilled by the idea, but is willing to give this Tamaru boy a shot, willing to fall for him, since he's the first guy to actually talk to her. The two of them start to text back between each other, and eventually Tamaru invites her out with his friends to a karaoke bar. You know, things are going pretty well. Nothing too crazy's happened. But that's not until, this girl brings out a cigarette. And what is that? Beers? But they're still in high school. They shouldn't be drinking that. People start making out with each other, and this is when Tamaru tries to, I'm just gonna say it, force himself on Isaku. Luckily, she's saved. By who other than Keiya. Tamaru tries to get mad about being interrupted.
What did the 5 fingers say to the face? Slap!
And he doesn't stop. They don't animate the blood, but he's in a coma. Don't get me wrong, I'm not defending Tamaru, but I'm also going to point out that Kei is just psycho. She has to yell out for him not to kill him. And yeah, Tamaru, you'll never see Tamaru ever again. 3. Keiya fails his test because he's not smart enough, 1, nor does he even care because he's already bought himself in the school, so there's no way of him ever really being expelled or not moving up a grade. He's already playing pay to win, so still, Isaku gets mad at him, making him study. Girls who see them together come to talk to them. Isaku gets excited because this is the first chance she has of actually making friends. Since if her technique of pretending to be asleep didn't work, this is her best chance of making friends. The girls ask them if they're dating. When she says no, they take their chance, because the girls are thirsty and only came here for Keiya. Keiya doesn't pay them much mind, but obviously, Isaku is feeling a bit discouraged by this. Keiya starts to do well in his homework, and he wants a reward, that being a kiss from Isaku. Bro, you're like her guardian. You're like 11 plus years older than her, but he doesn't care. She says no. Not really knowing what she should do in the situation, the two of them instead just go on a date, where they have their little cute moments. Episode 4, another guy who's just at best trying to make light conversation with Isaku while they're cooking, gets a knife to the face. It's played off for laughs, but I'm just thinking in the back of my head, yeah, there's a reason why no other guy is animated in this anime, basically. She sees him naked because she was out helping her friend. Later on in the anime, she thinks that Keiya is being attacked, so she gets a watermelon and throws at the guy's head. Luckily, it happens to be someone who works for her grandfather, so no hard feelings, and he just skedaddles. But right after that, she gets kidnapped, with the people who kidnapped her not wanting to really hold her for ransom, but just want her so they can go and deal with Keiya, which I guess. I'm not really going to tell you, yakuza, how to do your job, but I'm just saying, I don't know, she's probably worth a lot. And even if you're thinking you're not starting a war by this, you kind of are, so like, you might as well just go for gold. Episode 5. This is probably the coolest thing he does all anime. He straight up just gets this guy, and then they simply just crash over the side of the road, and he's able to save her. Being the only person here that actually knows how to swim. I kind of find this hard to believe, but comedically, those two just die. The two of them get punished for breaking curfew, missing on the fireworks. When they get back home, Isaku wants to learn how to protect herself. Understandably. Deep down, though, wanting to fight alongside Keiya, or just not be a burden so much. Which is completely different of hating violence at the beginning of the anime. Keiya settles on thinking about teaching her some self-defense. But he never does this. Like, at all. I knew he was straight up just lying to her. Not to mention, he'd be the one teaching her the class, and there is no way, if this is anything to indicate earlier, that he would actually be serious in teaching her. She would never learn anything. I'm just gonna skip over episode 6. Episode 7, without question, this is the best episode. In comes Tanuki, which, if you don't know what Tanuki is in Japanese culture, basically, he's a mischievous little trickster. And he's by far the best character in the show. I'm counting both first and second season. He's the best character in the show. He's the grandson of her grandfather's friend, making for a character that Keiya can't exactly push around if he's written correctly. He's the opposite of Isaku, embracing the yakuza lifestyle and enjoying fighting. He's like Tamaru, but more aloof and more respectful, not having to force himself on anyone to actually go out with them. He tries to talk to Isaku, but Keiya threatens him. Big surprise. In the process of him threatening him, he learns that Keiya is basically cosplaying as a high schooler, finding this entire thing just stupidly hilarious. When he transfers to their school to be friends, he finds out their situation is even more hilarious as she's lying to everyone. They're both just lying to everyone, laughing his ass off watching this train wreck when everyone plays along into the Keiya and Isaku, Romeo and Juliet as the main leads in the play. He puts his hat in the race, asking why exactly should we just all accept this? This is a school event. It should be fair game for anyone. And in his monologue, they decide to settle it with some good old-fashioned rock, paper, scissors, which Tanuki ends up winning, being the new Romeo, with of course Keiya being a sore loser about it the entire time, with him memorizing all of Romeo's lines just in case. Why do you need to know his lines? He reveals to Isaku that, like her, he is also in what they call yakuza jail, where they are monitored and have to stay protected at all times, with him also basically not really having any real friends because of this. So they have another reason to be good friends with each other, being the only other person that could probably understand her situation. Tanuki and Isaku get closer, but not romantically, but as friends. Tanuki finds out that she has a one-sided crush on Keiya, so he tries to actually help her vocalize her feelings to know what exactly she likes about him. Keiya, who's now been apart from her the longest time in the show, can't take it any longer, and he's just straight up, out of nowhere, attacks Tanuki with a sword. There was nothing said that provoked this. He just straight up assaulted him. Isaku and Keiya talk it out, and he's just like, I wish you'd notice the good of a job I'm doing for you. I can't keep being good unless you encourage me. Isaku is just thinking maybe this is partly my fault, and I'm just like, no, this is not your fault. He shouldn't be here in general. He gets paid. Are we forgetting that? There's no added encouragement needed. No one asked him to do this. He did it himself to be here, but she does this to keep him happy. Tanuki is just, I don't even know what Tanuki's feeling at this point, but he saw that. While others lie about her acting skills and them placating her basically, he's honest and just telling her straight up, you're too stiff, you're not very good at this. and that's the reason why you're not very good at this. Asking to have some extra practice time to work on this. She agrees, but of course Keiya is not agreeing to this. But after school ends, it somehow ends up like this. 9. But unfortunately, just when I thought the show would get better, it doesn't. As it turns out, Tanuki had planned to kidnap Isaku from the beginning to force Keiya to come save her. Why did he do this, you might be asking? Because he's a masochist, I guess, and he got excited when Keiya threatened him. That's how bored he is. Keiya saves her, and he's about to kill Tanuki, but Isaku stops him, and he's spared. And the reason why she does this is because they won't be able to act in the play if he dies here, because of course that's the most important thing that matters, guys, the play. Still, Keiya doesn't let him off the hook so easily, and his life is only spared because of Isaku, acting as the main leads in the play. And I just hate this. I would have rather they just killed him from this train wreck. Tanuki could actually help her be more independent and gain some confidence for herself, as well as, if anything, make it towards the audience can accept these two being together and it not feel so ick. This plot could have done this entire situation way better if they still wanted to have it. He could have held them hostage to, in an attempt, help her learn her lines better without Keiya interfering, because that's what he does all her life. And since Keiya has assaulted him, Tanuki would have the higher ground if the yakuza had to get involved. He was the perfect thorn character to Keiya. 10. This is where Kaori makes her appearance in the show. Now, earlier in the show, it was kind of hinted or teased that Kaori was one of Keiya's girlfriends, one of his lovers, with this being a reason why he couldn't be together with Isaku. But this is where we learn exactly her role in the show, or her role in his life. Of course, she comes to the high school laughing at this entire situation of him trying to play as a high schooler. This scary yakuza mafia boss is playing high schooler. It turns out that Keiya and Kaori were lovers, but never anything official. They would have sex, that's about it. But she does offer some advice to Isaku, and when I say advice, she just calls it how she sees it basically, and making it very clear that he's never had eyes for anyone else, ever. Knowing he's an absolute weirdo, and probably laughing to herself how stupid this situation is, of how maybe she fell for this guy at one point, and how crazy of a bullet she just dodged by ending it here. So yeah, she just states the obvious. When Isaku gets home, she basically releases Keiya from being her guardian, allowing him to not hold back anymore, where he immediately gets on top of her. And that's the anime, guys. Yay. Okay, things I didn't like about the show. To quote this Mao user, I felt icky while watching the show. Now, it's rare you would actually agree with another reviewer on Mao, but I don't think many would disagree on this take. Now, I've seen a romance around a concept similar to this before, but I'm positive this show does it just about the worst you could possibly do it. A concept they could have done in the case of, say, like real life. It could have been the exact literal concept, but just make the guy 17, or at the anything, put her in college, or make her older. A little bit older at that. Have the two of them in this situation solve other classmates' issues, while Isaku is trying to find herself in the world. Or they could have done it with the concept like remake, and just make it a college setting where a group of classmates help them work towards one big project and have a complete compelling romance twist. First, they put these two as the class reps and they have to organize school events. Okay. With Keiya taking over, smooth talking everyone who doesn't really feel like participating and getting involved into being okay with this, by playing to their hubris. Then Isaku feels insecure because of how well he's handling it. Girl, he's an adult talking to children. I think he would find a way to at least manipulate them. Like, think about it. If you graduated high school, came back 10 years later, don't you think you would automatically cheat the system? Not to mention, the guy had prep time and creepily remembered all of their names and hobbies. He knows just how to talk to these people. Second, I don't like how they repeat the age of their counterpart love interests like multiple times. If I have to hear you talk about he's a 26-year-old one more time, I'ma vomit. No, I think I'm still gonna vomit. Third, I don't know how many scenes are like this, but he's literally just spooning her. Like, it's always him doing it. When they could just like talk and actually have a good dialogue scene, he's just doing this. Fourth, I think the anime shows she would have had more fun if he wasn't here. She would feel less insecure, gain more friends, and she does that when he's not there. Fifth, all your Yakuza guys under him know that Keiya is just strange and creepy with these eyes, but they don't step out of line because they don't want to freaking die. He's a psychopath. Sixth, the entire time she's giving an inner monologue about how she knows this is wrong and is like, once I do this, there's no turning back. First of all, I'm just like, why is she the only one who's having these thoughts? Shouldn't he be saying this to his head? But I guess he's too far gone, so the responsibility's on her now. And that's where I had to literally tune my brain off to be able to continue to watch this, because that's just it's so glaring. Like, if they just stop reminding the audience of how weird this is and focus time on their personalities, then this could be at least watchable. Project 9 is the animation team behind this show, with them sort of having a history of doing poorly rated shows and just weird ideas. But still, they have at least 2 shows on their roster currently that does this concept better than this. The first is Ryo's Work Is Never Done, and the second is Hikaharu, a plot that is actually helping the younger main lead in their future plans. This show does not do that at all. What are exactly her future plans? Her future plans are to basically graduate high school, maybe go to college, but basically stay inside the house and don't go anywhere unless it's with her girlfriends at some point. Besides that, she doesn't have any career or any like future plans she really wants to get into or a hobby she's interested in. She's not allowed to have any of those. Seven, there's never been a chance for this girl to really be normal. Sure, she got her friends, her good group of friends to hang out with, but she never got to talk. She didn't get a chance to get perspective. Keiya probably knew if she talked to a normal boy who wasn't a delinquent, then his chances would be good as gone. The first boy, Tomaru, was just straight up bad news, and any person who wasn't freaking sheltered all their life could tell you that. Her situation with him is an outlier, not the norm, which is what Keiya is perpetually telling her is the norm when it comes to boys. The girl is now going to be sheltered off for the rest of her life. Both characters stay close to exactly the same as they did in the first episode. Keiya for sure doesn't change because he's already set in his ways. Isaku changes, but it's for the worse. At the beginning, she wanted to go see life outside the Yakuza, move far away, have normal romance, make normal friends who have dreams. By the end of the anime, she's now sure that she loves Keiya, but that's because he's the only option. There is no other option. Not to mention, doing tasks for her or getting so far involved the girl can't even think for herself. By season 2 is the first time she's actually going to talk to a boy without Keiya being around, with her doing this in secret, and the friends that she has are ones that fully support their relationship, not knowing the background behind these two. So, people that Keiya can basically control. Also, something I probably just didn't like, which is honestly a small note in the actual plot of the anime, is the animation was a bit stiff. Some things that I did like about the show is that I like every character that's not the main character. I don't think that's a positive though. I get happy when a new character is introduced into the group and actually has lines to talk. I could say that I like the OP and the ending animations. The song's pretty good. The music was pretty okay as well for the most part. Meaning of the show doesn't have a good message to take home or to feel any comfort by it, unless you want your significant other taking full control over your life, but she's indoctrinated into thinking that this is okay. If you disagree with me, honestly, take away the age as well as the focus of the two of them being together. Can you actively tell me that he's making her a better person, a person that he can actually respect as an equal? I don't think you can tell me that. He doesn't allow her to make a decision on her own, unless he directly knows the outcome of the situation, doesn't want her to get along with other people that he doesn't approve of. He's force-feeding his way into anything that she's doing. He's a psychopath, and he just won't accept that he's making a mistake when he's doing so. This is what happens when you let an alpha male make a romance anime. Future of the show. This anime does have enough material for season 2, but I will not be watching it. There's gonna be another mafia boss that decides to play dress up at their high school, and I honestly can't take seeing another grown man asking about studying for the test that's coming up on Thursday. I'm just not built for it. And then they try to say like, oh, these two aren't in bed together, even though she has hickeys like all over her body in the manga. Okay, I'm good. I'm good.